Please listen carefully.
Hello, universe, and welcome to the Optimist Daily Update. I'm Amelia Buckley.
And I'm Summers McKay.
And we're part of the team behind the Optimist Daily, making solutions the news. We bring you reader-funded solutions news every day in order to change the tenor of news media, social media, and the direction of your day to one focused on solutions.
7 days a week, we publish positive news stories written by award-winning journalists and delivered online to your inbox and through our social channels. And also, we are sharing these solutions in a commute-worthy, walk-worthy, home office-worthy, TGIF-worthy podcast. Today is Friday, the 30th of April, 2021. Welcome, Amelia. It's lovely to hear your voice.
Yeah, what a good way to start my Friday on the pod.
Yay. So beautiful day there in sunny Santa Barbara.
It's gorgeous. It's really, the weather's been really nice this week. I had dinner outside on our little patio with my roommate last night, and we were sitting down to eat, and the neighbor's cat, we have two cats that live in our like little apartment complex, and the neighbor's cat comes running up the stairs with a dead bird in its mouth towards like our outdoor dinner that we had set up. And so I chased the cat away, and then I looked down the stairs, and the other neighbor's cat has a full snake in its mouth, like in the driveway. And so we just went outside. We were like, no, too many.
Never mind. I love that like the animals have gone wild, right?
No,
it's spring. They're ready to go. The cats are like, I can pounce and do things. That's pretty fun.
Yeah, our neighbors, like, it's the warm weather and the full moon. They're going crazy.
Oh, that's great. Well, I think
some crazy weather on your end too. No dead animals, I hope.
I know, no dead animals. Although I thought one of the squirrels got stuck in one of the bird feeders, but no, he was just hanging upside down in it, eating food and squirreled away. But yes, we had a tornado warning. So as I've moved here to the hill country of Texas, which is gorgeous and I love it, but there are extreme weather situations. And, you know, everybody talks about in California how you have to worry about earthquakes and whatnot, but earthquakes aren't, they're not something that you think about all the time before they're going to happen, right? Like the earthquake warning system, and this has actually got me thinking about like the earthquake warning system, doesn't keep you up all night holding your infant daughter in fear or toddler daughter in fear that an earthquake is coming.
Ignorance is bliss when it comes to earthquakes. We don't know when they're happening.
Right,
so
like you just don't know. We had a miraculously beautiful and powerful storm, and the storms continue to run through Texas. It's going to be a really crazy weekend of wet, stormy weather. And what that meant was that in the area that we were in, there was a pretty widespread tornado warning, and it was a tornado warning in the middle of the night. And so my husband, the baby, and I, well, the baby wasn't really involved in the planning, but we had to come up with a tornado plan, which we have never previously had. And I found myself like moving things into my closet to make sure that there were flashlights and that there was a pair of shoes that were easy access, that there was enough water, etc., so that if I had to and the tornado sirens went off, I could pick up the baby, run into the closet and this very sheltered closet that we have and be safe with her for a little bit. And it was an upsetting evening. I'm not going to lie. I am tired today. The baby, even though she didn't know about this tornado warning, woke up to a lot of the thunder and she fell asleep on her way to school this morning. So we had to sit in the parking lot for her to knock out a 20-minute nap. So I was late to work. And so it was just very, very stressful. But I am determined to remain optimistic and positive because while stressful and terrible things can happen in life, that doesn't define who you are. It just defines the mood of the day. So I am TGIF, but I'm not a wholeheartedly like, yay, I'm going to party all weekend because I don't know, we might just be hiding in my closet. So it was definitely an unexpected adventure. And I know a lot of people are dealing with more extreme levels of climate awareness and coming up with solutions. And I think we talked about last week that the power was out at my house for a while, and we are doing a lot of research into how to get this home off the grid, not only as a benefit to our ecological footprint, reducing our carbon footprint, but also because we don't feel that the grid will necessarily serve us through some of these extreme climate situations that will continue to happen in the area that we now call home. But there are ways, I think, Amelia, that we all can continue to reduce our ecological footprint. And you have a pretty interesting article that might shed some light for people on things they might not have known were not so good for the earth.
Yeah, so I came across this article and I wanted to feature it today because it was honestly a real shocker to me personally. I had a colleague mention to me a couple weeks ago about how they were providing grants from a local organization to transition gardening equipment at a local garden to all electric versions. And I was like, that's kind of interesting. Like, is that the most effective use of money in terms of greening up your operations? Like, would not be better served in installing solar energy, for example. But then I dug a little deeper and I found out that actually using a gas-powered leaf blower for 30 minutes, so just like, you're using the leaf blower, blowing the leaves around your patio for 30 minutes, creates the same amount of emissions as driving for 7,700 miles. That's insane.
It's crazy. I had no idea. I mean, you hear about like the noise pollution from leaf blowers and like, oh, that's so frustrating. But are you kidding me? This is crazy.
They're horrible for the environment. But luckily there are, like electric cars, there are now all electric gardening equipment options. And they're not outrageously expensive. They're pretty affordable and they have a crazy amount of benefits. So today we wrote an article about why you should invest in all electric gardening equipment.
Yeah.
So the first point that we have on our agenda today is that they're lightweight. So this is, environmental aspects aside, they're a lot lighter because they A, don't hold a bunch of gas, and B, don't have as big of a motor. And so they're lighter and easier to use, which means that individuals that are older or smaller or differently abled can use them more easily and might not have to contract that work out to someone else.
Well, and that's interesting because that is in contrast to electric powered vehicles, which are actually heavier oftentimes than non-electric cars. So there's a shift in the efficiency of the batteries for these smaller devices.
Yeah, they don't have to do as much, so they can make the batteries smaller, basically.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then the second point is to what you were mentioning earlier, the fact that they produce less noise. So we've all woken up to somebody mowing their lawn at like 8 a.m. on a Saturday, and it's ruined our whole morning.
Oh my goodness, you are such a 20-something. 8 a.m. is like, I'm done with brunch. But
okay,
yes,
8 a.m. is
point
bright and early for me. But also for people who work in landscaping or in gardening, this prolonged exposure can actually lead to long-term hearing loss. So this is incredibly beneficial for the health of people that work in these industries. And then there's also the cost of operation. They have a slightly higher upfront cost than all gas models, but in the long term, they have lower maintenance costs and you're not paying for fuel to put in them. So they end up saving you about $200 over a 10-year ownership span. And then obviously they're more environmentally friendly. Gas lawn engines actually account for 13 billion pounds of air pollution each year. So like we were saying, they just create a ton of emissions. People that operate them are breathing that in. The people that live near them are breathing it in. It's bad for you. Overall, you just got to go with the electric version. They're cheaper, they're better for you, they produce less noise, and they're better for the planet. I'm buying my dad an electric powered lawnmower for his birthday.
I think that's great. I need to go figure out. I know a lot of the equipment that we have acquired to take care of this great big property is electric, but I'm not 100% sure whether or not our new tractor, yes, there's a tractor in my life, is electric. But I think this is really, really fascinating. And I think it's one of those opportunities for people to step back and look at all the little things that we do that you might not even realize have a huge impact, and to say, what can I do? What can I shift to make this world, be part of the solutions in changing this world for the good? So thank you very much for picking this article.
And speaking of changing the world for the good, our personal mindsets have a big impact on that, which I think ties into the story that you wanted to mention this Friday to get us off on the right foot for our weekend.
Exactly. And also for the month of May, right? Today's the last day of April. This is like, we're on to May. April showers bring May flowers and like other cats catching birds and things. But anyway, there has recently been a study that suggests that optimism leads to greater success with less stress. Now, first and foremost, duh. And then here's the science. Researchers Heather Lench and Zari Carpenter set out to determine whether or not students who have increased levels of optimism can actually increase their success academically and reduce stress. These two researchers set out and ran a study interviewing students before their first psychology exam, a couple weeks before, assessing their levels of optimism and their levels of overall sense of self and where they were at. And then following the exam 2 weeks later, they analyzed their success on the exam. They obviously found that the greater optimism 2 weeks prior to the exam yielded more study hours and a better grade. They also surveyed students on their happiness and stress levels and whether or not they thought they'd be accepted into their top choice programs. When all said and done, the students that were accepted into their top ranked programs confirmed that those who were more optimistic had the higher likelihood of being accepted into their favorite program. Now, this is a chicken and an egg situation. And at the Optimist Daily, we were talking with our team this morning. Is optimism in your nature or something you can nurture? And we believe it's both. I have been a determined optimist all my life. And a lot of times people will tell their life story and, or hear someone's life story and then say, oh, how can you be so optimistic? And I happen to be one of those people, right? I've had a lot of highly challenging, highly stressful things occur in my life. And all of it, through the lens of optimism, through the lens of determination, has made me better, has made me more successful, has brought me to where I am today. I think, Amelia, most people on the Optimist Daily team share that mindset, share that capacity. We are all natural optimists. However, if you are not a natural optimist, instead you might fall on the Eeyore side of the Winnie the Pooh trio. Or I guess there were 4 or 5 main characters, but in the Eeyore side of things, can you nurture optimism? Well, this article doesn't go into it. I am here to tell you unequivocally, absolutely 100% yes. And it comes from starting each day with a positive mindset. It comes from saying, not looking through a lens of why did this stink, but instead, what did I learn and how can I make it better? And so just like an article about the gas guzzling emission releasing dangers of lawnmowers could read that way, you could also read it as, and here are all the advancements in technology that allow you to make a better choice. So I think you put it kind of succinctly this morning, Amelia, when you said, of course, optimism gives you the determination to fix your stuff. And then once you fixed your stuff, you're more optimistic because you realize, hey, you can fix your stuff. Now, granted, you may have used a different word than stuff, but this is a PG rated podcast. And I get frustrated, and I am perhaps a bit critical of people who seem like they're always in the negative and always finding something wrong and, oh, woe was me. But I think instead of being critical of them, and if you are like me who are critical of them, part of what we can do is to show them ways to be optimistic and to just continue to role model positivity in this world, because this world is a beautiful world. Even though it's a scary tornado place, it is a beautiful, amazing world, and there are good things for us to celebrate every day. Some other great headlines as we wrap up this week on the Optimist Daily update include scientists design an app that helps detect autism in toddlers. A Dutch pollinator strategy protects bees across the country. The rewilding movement is gaining momentum in Scotland. We love that one. Scientists develop a technique to heal wounds without scarring. What else do we have, Amelia?
We've also got this recognition program encourages cities to plant more trees. GPS tracking is helping tigers and humans coexist in Nepal. Very cool.
Yay, tigers.
For the gardener, the high-tech gardener, we've got a build-your-own hydroponics vertical garden with these free design plans. And last but not least, scientists may use bacteria to clean up microplastics floating in water.
Yay, things that can eat things. All right, everybody, thank you for listening to today's Optimist Daily Update. Amelia, thank you for being on and sitting in Kristy's seat. We promise to continue to share positive solution-based stories with ideas on how you can participate in this changing world and ensure it is changed for the good. We promise to cover the current events with accuracy, legitimate sources, and offer you the information needed most to chart new paths for all of us. Amelia, you get to ask people to become emissaries.
Please consider becoming an emissary on theoptimistdaily.com. Do it for yourself, give it to a loved one, and for just $5 a month, support reader-funded independent journalism and help us be a part of the solution-changing consciousness and addressing our world's biggest challenges with a problem-solving mindset. Let's keep the Optimist Daily free to all who need it, supported by those who can. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Thanks, guys. See you on Monday.